Okay, now we move to a new lesson, namely the Keynesian macroeconomics and the economic instability, a critique of the self-regulating economy. Basically, this chapter is based on the facts or on the ideas of this man, John Maynard Keynes, who is an English author of this major and famous book, The General Theory of Employment, Interest, and Money. So all these ideas in this chapter actually are based on his thoughts in about the world, about the economy in the world back in his time, back in the 30s of last century. Of course, basically, Keynes has had challenged all the beliefs of the classical theory. And these are basically the 4 or 5 beliefs of the classical theory. He basically criticized all of them, And so here we're going to present the main, beliefs of the classical theory, and then see exactly, his, criticism of these, important building blocks of the Keynesian, of the classical theory. The classical theory basically had these important, of course, beliefs. First, they believe on Say's law, and they say that Say's law hold in a barter as well as in a money economy. They believe that interest rate as well as other resource prices such as wages and prices, are flexible. They believe that the economy is self-regulating. They also, which means that the economy will move in the direction of long-run equilibrium, of course, producing the full employment or natural GDP, and say also, as we said, the prices and wages are flexible, like the interest rate. And of course, the classical economists also believe that since the economy, according to them, is self-regulating, then the sensible and right policy to advocate was the laissez-faire policy, okay? Which means basically the non-interference policy. According to them, the government, should have no any management role in the economy. That's what actually the policy, which is the laissez-faire policy means, okay? Non-interference policy, and this is the main prescription of the classical theory. Now, of course, Keynes, he wrote this book, The General Theory of Employment, Interest, and Money. Prior to its publication back in 1936, of course, the Great Depression had inflicted many countries in the world, mainly in Europe. So, looking around the world at that time, one had to question the validity of the classical theory. At that time, you would see many countries had experienced, unemployment that was sky high. And many economies in Europe were experiencing a recession or contraction. So, therefore, Keynes has challenged all the beliefs of the classical theory. based on the classical belief that the economy would not, experience any general overproduction, that is, supply greater than demand, or any general underproduction, that is, demand greater than supply. And that, of course, always the Say's law holds, according to them, in a barter economy as well as in a money economy. And they believe that because of the interest rate flexibility, the amount of saving is matched, or according to them, usually is matched by an equal amount of investment. The classical economists believe that saving and investment depend on the interest rate. Keynes believed that saving and investment depend on a number of other factors that are more influential, more important than the interest rate. According to Keynes, saving is more responsive to changes to income than to changes in the interest rate. According to Keynes, investment is more responsive to a number of other factors, such as innovations, business expectations, technological changes, than to the changes in the interest rate. So in this instance, we could see that he challenged the Say's law. Okay? Now, of course, also as far as the classical economists also believe that the interest rate is so flexible, of course, that saving is equal to investment. He disagreed on that, of course, and of course he believed that saving and investment, of course, depend on other factors that are more important and more influential than the interest rate. The classical economists believe that interest rate, wages, and prices are flexible. Keynes, of course, did not believe that. He says that the internal structure of the economy is not that competitive to allow for prices to fall. And that, as far as wages are concerned, of course, wages do not adjust in the downward direction as the classical economists believe. Of course, one evidence that he supplied to indicate that wages won't adjust downward. The fact was the fact that employees and the labor union, won't or would resist the employer's effort to cut wages. So this is the main criticism of Keynes concerning this aspect or this belief of the classical economist. As far as the economy is self-regulating, Keynes believed that the economy is inherently unstable, and he believed that this depends on time. According to the classical economist, they believe that the time required for wages and prices to adjust is short enough to call the economy a self-regulating economy. However, Keynes believed that the time required is long enough to say that the economy is not self-regulating. And so he believed that the economy is inherently unstable. Of course, the economy, because the economy is self-regulating, you know, adjust in the direction of the long-run equilibrium, producing the natural GDP. The classical economists initiated or advocated a policy of non-interference policy, a policy that is called the laissez-faire policy, which means a non-interference policy. Okay, they believe that this was the sensible and right policy in a world that is, experiencing the self-regulating economy. However, Keynes, believed that because he does not believe the economy is self-regulating, he believed then this policy, the non-interference policy or the laissez-faire policy, is not the right and sensible policy in the economy. Therefore, he has, criticized all the beliefs of the classical theory. What, caused Keynes to criticize and challenge the most, if not all, of the classical, beliefs was what happened in the economy back then, prior to his publication of the book, The General Theory of Employment, Interest, and Money, because the economy at that time was experiencing, a recession, many symptoms of the economy, of the bad economy at that time, such as, a high or sky high level of unemployment rate. Therefore, if he believed, or he said that if the economy is self-regulating, why, the economies in Europe were, were continuing to, experience or see this bad performance in their economies. So what that means to him? It meant that the economy can't be a self-regulating economy, because if it were a self-regulating economy, then all these problems in the economy back then could have been resolved